Hi guys, welcome back to Tara Makes It Up. Today I'm very excited to be doing fall inspired looks and fall inspired beauty. I've got a gorgeous model and lovely friend Amelia, and we're going to do kind of runway to reality. So we're going to give you kind of an everyday take on autumn beauty, and then also something a little bit vamped, a little bit kind of upping the ante that you could definitely wear for like a more party look or evening, but for some people it might just be nice to see a kind of more runway inspired look. So I'm going to start with the Oskia. This is the Get Up and Glow Renaissance, and this is the Radiance Energy and Protect Booster, which has a little bit of iridescence in it, but it's just quite nice if you want something a little bit lightweight, just to give the skin a little bit of sheen, a little bit of glow, but also a little bit of moisture. So a product I want to introduce you guys to, which is quite new to me, and lovely Amelia introduced me to it, is RMS Beauty. So it's all organic. It has a high percentage of like coconut oil, and was it rosehip oil you were saying as well, Amelia?
I think the oil has the rosehip in it.
So they smell really lovely. If you're really into natural beauty, you'll really like these. And I'm going to show you how to use the concealer, because the Uncover Up concealer, it's very, very emollient, but you can also build it gradually, which is really nice. So I'm taking shade 22. And I'm actually going to start my fingers, because you were saying the great thing is you can do a lot of it with your fingers, can't you?
I just use my fingers for all of it.
So I'm just going to take it a little bit under the eyes, and I'm just going to use a gentle patting motion. And one thing that RMS did tell me that's really cool is you can actually use their beauty oil and mix it in with the concealer to create a foundation. So if anyone who loves your natural products, that's a really, really good tip. And you can use a little bit of this around the nose. And I'm just using the warmth of my fingers really, it doesn't need much more than that.
Sometimes it needs a little bit more when it's really cold.
Oh yeah, because it gets a bit more solid, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like coconut oil.
In winter, yeah. So I bet even if you leave it near your radiator a little bit, you can probably like warm it up. So yeah, I'm just literally using this with kind of my ring finger.
And it's got quite a good coverage if you layer it.
Yeah, it's really nice, and it does layer nicely actually. So I'm just going to turn it that way a little bit, maybe. So I'm just going to give Amelia's brows a little groom. And I feel like all my models I've worked with recently have good brows. I've always got brown envy, guys, which is really upsetting, but my brows just don't grow. And I'm going to use, because Amelia's got a nice strong texture of her brow, I just want to add a few more hairs where there's any kind of sparse gaps. So I'm going to use the Suqqu eyebrow pens, and I'm going to use a mix of the moss green and the warm brown. I find using the two tones together works really well. So just taking the slightly cooler one first, just for anywhere that needs like the arch, just giving a little bit of filling in. And the great thing with this is you can just cheat the same direction that the brows go naturally. And I really think with brows, if you look at them, often they are multi-tonal. They don't usually have just kind of one tone in them. So mixing two colours gives you a more natural effect. So for eyes, like I said, I want to keep the first look quite quick, and it's more the kind of reality, everyday look. And you could still kind of increase the intensity of the pigments if you wanted to. But I'm going to use another RMS product, and this is the eye polish in Imagine, which is this beautiful, beautiful... It's got like a metallic finish to it, but again, what's great is if I close your eye, Amelia, you can literally do it all with fingers. So you see that colour, it's so pretty. And I'm pushing it mostly into the roots of the eyelashes. And I do love looks that you can just do all with your fingers. I think it makes it so fun, and it's not so perfect, which is quite nice. It's quite refreshing having makeup that you can sort of play with a little bit more. And again, just using the warmth of your fingers, I'm just pushing it backwards and forwards. And again, blue eyes, brown eyes, green eyes, purples and mauves are incredibly flattering. And I think they're really nice for autumn. And I'm literally just using my finger just to push that up and just smudge it into the eye. But if you open a little bit for me, Amelia. So now that I've got kind of one layer on, I'm just going to build a tiny bit with a brush for a little bit more precision. So just taking a slightly fluffy brush. I'm just going to take this. I think even with a cream shadow, you can still kind of go into the socket and blend outwards. You've definitely got room to do that, but I'm just going to show you kind of the power of even using one colour in terms of taking a trend look and making it wearable. So then I'm going to take one of the new mascaras, and this is from the new Chanel collection, Le Rouge, and this is the Dimensions De Chanel Mascara in shade 40, and it's a little bit aubergine-y, so it's a really pretty alternative to kind of a black or a brown. You get the intensity, but it's just that little bit softer. So I'm going to turn you that way for me and look down, and I'm actually just going to put this on the top lashes. I'm going to leave the bottom lashes bare, because again, I think if you're kind of going quite full on with colour, and especially a colour that's newer to you, or you know, you feel a bit more braver to try, you can always pare it back with going softer with mascara. So I'm just using the mascara on the side first, coating every single lash. and then you can just kind of flick the mascara upwards so that you can get right into the roots and give a little bit more thickness. So then taking a little bit of Liz Earle, this is in Camellia, and I love this blush. I use this so much. It's really pretty and soft. I'm just going to take a little bit of that to the cheeks. So this is like a proper cream blush, and then it doesn't set. It still has a nice dewiness, but it's definitely a more subtle colour, so you can build it to the intensity you want, but it's not going to like overpower the eye. And I'm actually going to use a little bit of that on the lips as well, actually, just to keep it. We put a little bit of lip balm on Amelia earlier, but I think this is quite a pretty kind of pinky mauve look that's still very modern and sort of more wearable than what you would think. You know, you could take this for an evening look, or maybe you could make it a softer daytime look. And just blot for me, Amelia. Give me a good, I'll say, yeah. It's very pretty. It's just nice and soft and pink. So that's the first look, guys, and I think this is a really easy, achievable, very subtle nod towards the kind of autumn colour palette as well. It's really pretty and soft. So this is how I would do the kind of reality, everyday way to wear the autumn trend. So I'm going to take one of the new Illusion D'Ombres from Chanel. This is from the Le Rouge collection, and this is an amazing colour. You wouldn't believe how easily I think red actually is wearable. I think it's just how you wear it. So keep in mind this look is a bit more leaning towards the kind of more fashion runway trend rather than everyday. But if you wanted to incorporate something like a red into your makeup, just look for like a cranberry or a rust colour, and you can always mix it into some brown, and it just brings out the colours in your eyes really beautifully. So I'm going to take a small brush to go underneath the lashes. I'm just going to take a little domed brush. So if you just look up for me, Amelia. And I think the great thing when you're working with like creams or moussey textures is you don't have to worry about it kind of falling down your face. So it's great for like going out looks because it's just so quick and easy. So we're just taking this under the eye all the way along, and I'm going to take that a little bit lower than what I would normally, because like I said, this is more the kind of runway sort of look. And I'm just smudging it out as I roll the brush backwards and forwards. So next I'm going to take, I'm going to include a bit more sheen and luminosity in it. So I'm going to go back to another RMS product, which is Eye Polish in Lucky, which is this gorgeous bronzy shade. And these are the kind of shades that you literally can kind of use all over the skin. So I'm going to use a Look Good Feel Better brush, the round foundation brush. And I'm just going to start to take that on the high points of the face. So a little bit in the bridge of the nose. And this has a little bit more of a kind of bronzy feel, which is nice. It's a bit more antique-y than a kind of a traditional highlight, but it's still very, very pretty. And I always think with kind of metallics or sheen, it's better not to go all the way to the tip of the nose, just keep it in the middle of the bridge so it doesn't elongate the nose too much. A little bit on top of the Cupid's bow. And if you want to go a bit more solid with the pigment, just use your finger because it'll pick up a little bit more. And then to the cheekbones, and a little bit towards the brow as well, just to deposit the colour. And it has got this like really lovely like burnished feel, which is really pretty. So I'm now going to use the Illusion D'Ombre. This is the other Chanel one, and this one is actually the matte shade, which is Rouge Contraste. To give you an example, I would kind of compare the colour almost like Rouge Noir. It's that kind of very, very deep burgundy, sort of like black red. And I'm taking on a MAC 217, so if you look straight ahead for me, honey. So I'm just going to take this into the socket just to deepen, and really I'm kind of using it quite softly, but just to take a bit more depth into the plum shade, so we get a little bit more drama. And you can even use this as kind of like a base and then go back in with the lilac just to deepen certain areas. But then I still want to keep open my kind of plummy violet tone that we used earlier from RMS, and then just with a big brush just sweep over it, so you still get the lilac coming through, but it's a little bit deeper, and also it kind of blends out that edge. And you can actually take it much higher towards the brow this time. There's still a little gap, but it's more the edges just blending very softly. So you see with the Rouge Noir you've got that depth, you've got the intensity, but it just starts to kind of come through the tones on top as well. So going back to the coppery shade and a pencil brush, if I turn your hair the other way, that's it, that way, that's okay, and close. And I'm going to take this on the inner corner so we get that nice pretty highlight. And using it with a brush, and it's just a little bit more precise, but it's also a little bit more intense on that inner corner. and then open and look up. And I'm just going to take that so we've got a nice little bit of sheen. And then I'm going to go back to the mascara we used earlier, the Chanel one, and go onto the bottom lashes this time. So if you look up for me, Amelia. And Amelia's got amazing bottom lashes, so it's going to contrast really nicely. And I'm just going to coat the bottom lashes. Don't be shy with the mascara. And then for lips, I'm actually going to use one of these Urban Decay. They sent me a little mix card with all the different Vice lipsticks. So I'm going to use one of the nude tones from that. So I'm going to use Stark Naked. Why not? So just using a bit of that on a lip brush. I'm just going to give a little bit more edge to the lips. So rather than using a lip pencil, I'm just kind of using this just to give a bit more definition. And kind of tidy the lip colour. So then I'm just going to use a Lip Shine in Bloom just to give even more sheen, because when is there not enough sheen in the world, to the cheeks. I just want this really nice glossy finish. And I'm doing this a little bit higher up than what I would normally do blusher, just so it kind of blends into what we did with the highlight. But I love how wet this makes the skin look. It's so pretty. And I'm going to take a tiny bit of that, if you close your eyes for me, Amelia, just into the centre of the eyelid, so we get that kind of wet look, glossy finish onto the lid, which along with the kind of metallic finish of the mauve is just going to look so, so pretty. And this is kind of how I would make it a bit more kind of runway. And so like I said, guys, that is pretty much the finished look. This is definitely a little bit more runway inspired. It's a very glossy wet skin, which I think is still incredibly beautiful. You definitely could wear this out if you wanted to, but it's also one of those looks that, you know, the eyes, because they have a gloss on them, they are going to crease a little bit more, but I actually really like that. So take from it what you will. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Make sure you subscribe and like, and I'll see you soon for more videos. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.